So either way, you will need a journal to go along with the book, which can either be a regular notebook or an actual journal, and an actual journal, which is just a fancy notebook. However you do it, that's entirely up to you. I have no recommendation other than you need to absolutely have one. Okay, so make sure you get a notebook or a journal to go along with your Dunes book. So when we began journaling, I said this before, but it is worth repeating. The key is to be honest in the journal questions. Be honest. The only way to get to the root of the issue is honesty, even if it's not pretty to you at that moment. Now, the Dunes book has a journal in it, but I always urge readers to use a separate journal because you never know who may pick up your book and then innocently read through it and all of a sudden have access to all of your private thoughts and feelings, which, we don't want. So make sure you get a journal separate. And it is important to have a journal. Well, because you'll be going over the journal questions and you'll be answering it. And it's important to keep that all near and dear to you. So you can go back and read some things, and it'll help you kind of gauge your progress too, as you're going through and just really opening up about things that you feel and things that you are experiencing. So absolutely get a separate journal or notebook. The challenges, this is very important. Very, very, very important. So with each revelation, there comes a revelation challenge. And we already talked about that, about you overcoming. That's when you're stepping out on faith and doing something new, stepping out of your comfort zone. The challenges are absolutely a necessary part of this journey. They are a launch pad to your new beginning. But that said, I have 3 rules for the challenges. The first rule is this: you must participate and complete all challenges. It's a must. You cannot feel like, I don't want it. No, you must. In fact, I'm pretty sure that you are, because you wouldn't have gone through the time and effort of signing up for this online course and getting the book if you did not anticipate giving your 100% and giving your all. So I'm pretty sure that you already planned on giving it your all, because you are ready to be free, and I'm ready to see you free. And it is your time to overcome the things that have blocked you in the past. So yes, you are going to give it your all, but it is worth saying, you must participate and complete all challenges. Rule number 2, you cannot move on to the next revelation until your journal questions and your challenges are complete. So if you have another revelation where you're like, well, I feel like I need to deal more with this revelation than this revelation. No. These things have been designed with a lot of time, thought, and prayer on my part, and there's a method to it. And so please surrender to the process, like we talked about. Surrender to it and let it have its effect on your heart, mind, and soul. And that means that you're going to go through each thing and give it your 100%. Even if you think it's an area that is not a particular challenge area for you, do the challenges, do the journal questions, really examine yourself, because you'd be surprised. So definitely, rule number 1, you must participate and complete all challenges. Rule number 2, you cannot move on to the next challenge until your journal questions and challenges are complete from the prior challenge. Rule number 3, and this is very important and one of the most important rules. I know I keep saying that, but this is very important. A challenge must never put you in harm's way. I'm going to say that again, and that's another thing I will repeat throughout our time together. A challenge must never put you in harm's way. And let me give you an example of that. I'm going to use an extreme example, but just to give you an example. So say we're on the first revelation, which is fear. And you have a fear of heights. And you decide, for my fear challenge, I'm going to go bungee jumping or skydiving. Now, I don't think a person with fear, but just go with me here. That is putting your safety at risk. So that is not what you're going to do for your fear challenge. For your fear challenge, if you had a fear of heights, I would suggest going into a building with a lot of stories, taking the elevator to the top and looking out the window, which if you have a fear of heights, that's a big thing for you to do. So we're never going to do a challenge that puts our safety at risk. Or for example, say we're doing the forgiveness challenge, and maybe you unfortunately in your past experienced something that was abusive. Your forgiveness challenge should never be to go to that person who was abusive to you and say, I forgive you. That also is putting your safety at risk. And another thing, and you'll learn this more when we get to the forgiveness challenge, forgiveness is about you. It's not about that other person. It's about setting yourself free. And of course, we'll talk about more of that when you're on that revelation. That is the third revelation. But when you get to these challenges, they are not to put yourself at risk. They are to give yourself areas and challenges to grow and to step out of your comfort zone. And I will be walking you through it, but I just want to say that now at the beginning, so you know that to never pick a challenge in any revelation that will put your health or your safety at risk. So the other thing is some of the challenge may be more difficult for you. They may prove to be a little challenging, which is what a challenge is. So it is okay to have a challenge buddy. And what I mean by that is someone you trust to help you through a challenge that you feel like you can't do by yourself. So let's take, for example, in the testimonials in the webinar, Celeste. She was a singer-songwriter, but she had a fear of singing in public. So say you had that fear, and so for your fear challenge, you were going to do what she did, which was an open mic, and you had a friend, and you wanted a challenge buddy. So that would be a friend that you would take on your fear challenge to support you, clap for you, be there, who you know is in your corner. You know what I mean? So it is okay to have a challenge buddy when you get to certain challenges where you feel like you need, somebody out there supporting you.